tonight we're going to be talking about lifestyle evangelism. We've talked about campus evangelism. We've talked about online evangelism and all sorts of different kinds of evangelism. Apart from the most frequent evangelism that Jesus himself did. Apart from going on his mission, it was lifestyle evangelism. So where are you in this form of evangelism? Do you know how to lifestyle evangelize and why you want to? That would be pretty good. And I hope by the end of the lesson you will know and why.
Tell me.
Or maybe you know how to, but you've lost your why. You might be sitting next to somebody on the bus and you know how to talk to them, to invite them out or to share your faith, but you just don't know why you would. Do you know your why, but you don't know your how? Maybe you're next to that same person and you just want to just do it, but you don't know how to. Or maybe you don't know how and you don't know why. But we're going to cover that today. So, one of the best scriptures that talks about lifestyle evangelism is in Acts 8, verse 4. Because wherever the disciples went, they constantly evangelized. So in Acts 8, verse 4, it reads, "Those who had been scattered preached the word wherever they went." In John 4, verse 7, when a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me a drink?" John 5, verse 6, when Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" Matthew 9, verse 9, as Jesus went on from there, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the tax collector's booth. "Follow me," he told him, and Matthew got up and followed him. John 9, verse 1 to 7. As he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. After saying this, he spit on the ground, making some mud with the saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. "Go," he told him, "wash in the pool of Siloam." This word means sent. So the man went and washed and came home seeing. Jesus was just talking about people, about everyday things, about their problems, just trying to help people, and he was just sharing his life with them. Even in Luke 11, verse 37, it says, when Jesus had finished speaking, a Pharisee invited him to eat with him. So he went and he reclined at the table. Jesus even had dinner with people. This is a completely normal thing to do, and it's not weird at all. Matthew 22, verse 36 to 39. It says, "Teacher, which is the greatest command in the law?" Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself." So, we're going to talk about the why. Why we do this kind of evangelism and the heart behind it. The reason why is because this is what it really looks like to love your neighbor. Neighbors are the people that we interact with and we see every day. It's not just the person to the left and the right and you and across the road, but it's actually everybody that we share our lives with. Those in our closest social circles. If we invited every person we ever came into contact with, do you think we would need to rely on set evangelism so much? No. Well, probably not, because you would be talking to people all the time. It is really just a sad reflection on today's society that being into oneself and selfish while in public is just such a common thing today. For example, a couple weeks back, I was at the Queen Street bus stop. We were catching the 110 and Nala Express back to Annalee. And I was on the bus with, I think it was like Varley and JD. And I was just joking, but it was actually pretty serious. Every single person, the bus was like pretty packed. Every single person had headphones on. So we could say whatever we wanted, and they couldn't hear us anyway, because they were just so distracted. They were so to themselves and not wanting to, talk to the person next to them that we could just say whatever.
7 names, bro, 7 names.
And the sad thing is that this actually even happens with Christians too. The Mickey Mouse headphones.
What did Mickey Mouse do to you, bro? What did Mickey Mouse do to you, bro?
not wanting to talk to the person next to you or, the people that you interact with. You just want to put on headphones and listen to music or something instead.
Well, who does that?
Have we become so ashamed of being a Christian in public and looking cool that we start looking a fool in the eyes of God?
Preach it, bro.
We're going to look at Luke 9 verse 26. It says, "Whoever is ashamed of me and my words, the Son of Man will be ashamed of them when he comes in his glory and in the glory of the Father and of the holy angels." You might think, well, I don't want to talk to this person. What if I feel uncomfortable? Or, what if they think I'm weird? Or what if they don't like my haircut? Well, actually, nobody else is thinking about those things but you. And you're actually not that important.
Let's say the name.
So just go for it. Just talk to them. Just be confident about the faith that you have. And if you learn to love the people around you every day, two things will happen. You will always have people you are helping to become Christians, both short-term and long-term conversions, and you'll actually be refreshed by all the people who also want to be in your life, as everyone is just looking for a friend and just for some love. It says in Proverbs 11 verse 25, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will themselves be refreshed." People everywhere are looking for friends. We might feel like we're sometimes intruding into people's lives, that they don't want us there or we're getting in the way. But the reality is that people are actually desperate to have real, genuine friendships. You'll also just see how much God is working in the lives of others around you, which in turn will actually help you see how God is specifically working in your life as well. So, in Ephesians 2 verse 10, it says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." An observation is that for those disciples who learned how to evangelize on campus as young Christians or on the streets, a strange emotional doctrine can start to form.
What's that? What is that?
Where we only learn to evangelize that way, at the detriment of lifestyle evangelism. For example, we might travel on the bus to get to and from sharing, but you won't talk to a single person on the way. You can talk to people at the bus stop. You can talk to people on the bus. It's honestly, it's really weird that people do that. It's not Christ-like. I don't think Jesus would be doing that. And it's not biblical, and it's just very religious. Well, why do people do this? Well, maybe it's legalism, religiosity built out of self-justification. You decide, but overall, I think we can agree it's not what Jesus would do. And the why. Why do we do this kind of evangelism? Well, this type of evangelism reaches like no other.
Let's go.
Everyday people, waiting staff, the servo guy, teachers, doctors, dentists, mechanics, pharmacists. Elias over there, he's a pharmacist. This kind of evangelism reaches the tradies that are outside. Isaac and Tinny. This kind of evangelism reaches the bookstore workers and the managers. Hairdressers, butchers, Rafira, your IT guy. Even Leslie, the admin. You really name it. It's just everyday people. Just normal people like me and you. So God has gone through great lengths to put these people in your life and to reach out to. If we look at Acts 17 verse 26 to 27, it says, "From one man he made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth, and determined the time set for them and the exact places where they should live. God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out and find him." God is working unbelievably in people's lives just to put them right next to you. God, you're praying for fruit, and God puts them right next to you, and you've got your headphones on. And he's just thinking, you prayed for fruit. They're right here. But you're just too stuck up in yourself to actually realize that.
Whoa.
This kind of evangelism, it reaches your type of people as well. We often want people like us to come into the church. People with the same mindset, hobbies, interests. You know, they might like playing basketball or video games or somebody to go to the gym with. All these people are around us, where we live, eat, work, and play. If you want a Christian gym buddy, just start evangelizing at the gym. If you want a Christian tennis partner, go join a tennis club. If you want a fellow mum or a dad to hang out with, maybe try a parents' social kids club or something. It reaches local people as well. It helps you to create and live in a Bible-centered community, rather than just an eclectic group of people that are hard to get to due to distance, travel, and time constraints. This will just give you more high-quality relationships, as time is less of a factor in your relationship, leading to a higher quality of life. Your life becomes more enjoyable as it becomes a lifestyle more than just a list of things that you need to do to be a Christian. It becomes a way of life. Evangelism becomes a way of life rather than a task. And you become a lot more relatable to your friends and family too. Well, how did you meet this guy? Where did he come from? He did my hair. That's my barber right there. So my first point is how we evangelize this way.
Let's go.
The first and very important part of evangelizing this way is that you need to be in the moment. So many of the interactions we read about with Jesus are in the moment interactions. Think about the woman at the well, or a person that Jesus just walked past, those he found sitting down. And you might say, well, my heart isn't like Jesus's. Maybe I can't do it, or I can't see those same opportunities or people that Jesus could see. Well, then you can pray for your heart to change towards having an evangelistic lifestyle.
Come on.
Change doesn't come easy, and daily prayer is the key to changing ourselves. Have you ever done something, been frustrated you didn't pray about it, and then later you do pray about it, and then it sorts itself out? Yeah. Maybe it's like a car spot, or you lost your keys. I remember one time I lost my wallet, and I was just going out for like a food break for work. I had 30 minutes. It was very much I needed to get there, get my food, come back to work. And I lost my wallet. By the time I got home, I had my food, but I didn't have my wallet. And I was thinking, I must have dropped it somewhere along the way. I must have left it at the restaurant. I hope nobody's picked it up and taken it. So I ran back to the restaurant. I was looking all along the path. I was looking everywhere. I asked the restaurant attendant, I was like, have you seen my wallet? Has anybody turned in a wallet? Has anything like that happened? And I came back home actually defeated. I could not find my wallet anywhere. And I was running along the path looking like one of these ones, you know? Those ones. And it was nowhere. I just thought my wallet had just disappeared. It had gone. And I came home. I had been like 45 minutes. I was 15 minutes past my break. I needed to go back to work. I was like, well, I'll just have to start canceling all my cards and everything. And I thought, okay, well, now that I've done everything in my power, I'm going to pray about it. And so I prayed about it. And about 30 minutes later, a lady came to the door and asked if this was my wallet, which it was. So prayer changes things. Your prayer is effective. Have a goal to speak to a certain number of people as the day goes by. This will first of all to get you to see that it's possible and where it's possible as well. It will create a habit that prayerfully will become your culture and your lifestyle as well. Implement some accountability to help you keep on track. Talk to each other, your Bible talk group or your friends, just to keep you accountable in this. Talk to 5 people each day. And it's really not about how long you're speaking to them for or trying to extend a conversation more than it needs to be. It's about just being focused, just being in the moment, just going to the bus stop, seeing somebody sitting there alone, sitting next to them and talking to them. That's what it's about. And mentally build your lifestyle around those who you want to be fruitful with, as opposed to the other way around. We can pretty often say to ourselves, all right, God, well, I just want to be fruitful. Who will you put in my life so that I can be fruitful with just anyone? Who can I meet? Rather than, I really want to be fruitful with somebody I can go to the gym with. I really want to be fruitful with somebody else who shares my love for basketball. I really want to be fruitful with somebody I can just connect with. You can rebuild your schedule around lifestyle evangelism. And you can pair up with somebody in this lifestyle as well. In Luke 10 verse 1, after this, the Lord appointed 72 others and sent them 2 by 2 ahead of him to every town and place where he was about to go. Find somebody to imitate. There are some for whom this is already the way they live. Go spend time with them. Just watch them and learn from them. For example, go spend some time with Rafaro. He will talk to every person he walks by. Or James Kiowa. A part of this guy's character is that they're just very giving people. And if you're not like that, just spend a day with them. Go ask them, why is it so easy for you but so hard for me? And you'll probably find that they don't even really think about it. You might see that James has already invited 3 people on that same bus you're on, and you haven't invited anybody because you're just too busy thinking about it. Some practicals. Maybe you can plan for the time to be in the moment. Allow time to talk to the servo guy, the barista, people at the shops. You might say, well, getting my groceries usually takes me 30 minutes. In and out, 30 minutes. Well, plan for 50 minutes. Plan to have that extra time to just have a genuine conversation with someone. Add extra time with chores and appointments to stop and just talk to people.
Come on.
You can always have an invitation on you as well, because sometimes a barista or a waiter doesn't have time to speak to you in that time. So always just have an invitation on your hand. You can make your own for very little online. In the sermon notes, I think those ones were sent out, there's a little photo there for Vistaprint. You can just design your own thing and you could print out like 120 cards for $25. It's something that you can always have and just hand out to people. And practice just makes perfect in this kind of evangelism. Go to social events with other disciples and practice socializing with them. Have you ever been to a party or a Bible talk and you're just awkward because you don't know who to talk to? Sometimes you just need to learn how to socialize at a party. It might be awkward to learn how to socialize, but you could just try talking to someone and say, hey, this may not be the perfect time right now, but here's my number. We can call during the week and I just want to share my faith with you if you're interested. You can put a sticker on your wallet, your phone case, or even your bus card, just to remind you to invite the person next to you on the bus. Or your dashboard if you drive. Reminding you to just invite the servo guy. If you've got a sticker on your dashboard and every time you look at it, it says, did you invite him? Eventually, you're going to invite the servo guy. You can have a prayer list of all the people and places that you regularly interact with as well. Know and pray for these people by name. Make it personal. Your hairdresser, your banker, your doctor, your dentist, the servo guy, the mechanic, the co-worker, your landlord, even your cafe barista, your gym manager, your receptionist, etc. It's just make it personal. Pray about them by name. Pray over the places that you go to as well. God, help me be fruitful on my street, at my supermarket, at the dog park, on a bus ride to church, etc. And if you pray about it regularly, the interesting thing is it'll actually motivate you to do it as well. Prayer puts things on your heart and it motivates us. So the next part is point number 2, the success stories of this kind of evangelism. Some personal examples I have of this is me and James were in the city one late night, and we were just playing guitar waiting for the bus. And through the mutual love of music, we were able to invite a lot of people both waiting for and literally on the bus. So maybe you just meet somebody through one of your talents. Another time, I was just on the bus reading my Bible. And the person next to me was really surprised by that. Because everyone else had headphones on, you know. And I was able to invite the person next to me, who then came out to Bible talk. Maybe just having your times with God publicly can inspire people who are looking for God and can be found this way as well. I met a guy called Addy, you know, a working relationship I've got with him at the gym. And I've just been slowly, you know, building up. You know, I see him at the gym or just like, you know, give him a dap up or something. How's it going? But it's a gradual relationship that I'm just building over time.
Let's go.
There was another time I was on my way to sharing and I just needed a new water bottle from the shops. So I stopped by the shops to get one. And on my way back to the bus, I met somebody along the street who ended up studying the Bible and becoming a disciple. Sometimes you just have to seize the moment. Because you never know, the person you walk past could be your new best friend. Some other examples. On a Wednesday night in Sydney, they had a men's midweek where the sisters went sharing in the city. And you might know this guy, James Kiowa. He was at a place called ICC Dancing. And James was actually planning on running away from life, running away from God and planning to leave for Japan the very next day.
Expose.
And he was met by Star and the sisters in Sydney. And although he wasn't really interested at first, he still decided to come along anyway. You know, check it out. And after Friday Bible talk, he studied the Bible, continued studying every single day after that, and was baptized in less than a week.
That happened?
Another person you might know, Eric Valenzuela. He saw a friend on the bus and they just started chatting. He hadn't seen this friend in about a year or so, but as they talked, she mentioned church and God, which caught his interests. They were both on their way to community college, and Eric says that, honestly, if anyone else had invited him, he probably would not have been interested. But what inspired him was her previous lifestyle and how sinfully she used to live, compared to the change he now saw in her life. Daniel Zavala as well. He was met by Alejandro, who leads our church in Thailand, met Daniel in Sydney City while doing everyday things. Then suddenly, Daniel started coming out to Bible talk, which was the equivalent of going from Red Bank all the way to here in Yeronga. Every single Friday night. Because the Bible talks were in Parramatta. Daniel then studied the Bible and made the decision to become a full-time disciple for God. Alyssa, who is currently an intern in the Auckland Church in New Zealand, and she's helped serve churches around the world, including Sydney, Samoa, and New Zealand, was first met by Christine through university. They were just classmates. Christine was just being very open about her faith and her beliefs and her thoughts on many of the issues she saw in churches today. And she shared about a church she had found in Sydney and her desire to return there. As they spent more time together, they connected over similar experiences. Struggles and a lack of conviction in their past faith. When Christine planned a trip to Sydney, she just invited Alyssa to come along with her. And Alyssa started studying the Bible after that trip. Throughout the Bible studies, Christine simply just walked alongside her. She just did it with her as a friend, just talked about it. What did you think of the study? And discussing the lessons and helping her process what she was learning. And within 2 weeks of studying the Bible, Alyssa was also baptized. One sister, who remains nameless, met somebody in a bathroom and invited them. They too became a Christian. And there are so many more stories like this. But in conclusion, the why. Why do we do this kind of evangelism? Well, it's to reach most people apart from campus ministries. For the full-time workers, the mums and the dads and the kids that can't be on campus all the time. The how is to be prepared through prayer and always having invites. Some Bible talks have flyers. For our one, it's like the one in the notes there. And I just love you all. I hope you're all fired up for the watch party tonight. And let's go share our lives and make disciples. Amen.